Everybody say one. Everybody say one. Give round of applause. Give round of applause, please. Act like Bitcoin crossed the all-time high. Right? Right? 70, what? 73,000? Yeah. 72 monkey account. So let's try this again and act like Bitcoin crossed the all-time high. Crypto when they say I'm on, crypto when they say I'm on, give round of applause, please. You did that? Thank you. How many millionaires and billionaires create this cycle? What?
7,000.
How many?
47,000.
He looks like he's sitting at 26 very important. Not his job. So, Mr. Rachel Brown from Core. Give her an applause, please, up first. He has to nut it off. Rich, welcome. Welcome to Coinbase. How are you, Mr.?
Doing good. We're so close to get this all working.
What's the like? This one works. They use that one. That one works a lot less.
All right. There we go. Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to chat about it. It's also, I would like to echo it's 72.5K, like no one gives a fuck yet. So it's going to be a great token.
I agree. I actually think that's more of a tell sign of how we haven't even really started the bull run yet, in the sense that, we've crossed all-time high, we've grown this year significantly, but in all reality, you're not hearing, the random person walking down the street talking about their newest flavor of shitcoin. And we're still some ways out from that. That should tell you that obviously there's a lot of excitement still to come into the market, and the market's trending in the right direction for sure. So Rich, tell us a little bit about who you are and your background and how we get here.
Yeah, so I got into Bitcoin in 2013, found myself at Coinbase just after the 2017 cycle, led my industry there for 3.5 years, about $1 trillion. That was a lot of fun, and a couple hundred people, a lot less fun at a few thousand. I've been building businesses for like 50 years. I'm the 0 to 1 guy, not like a 2 to 10 guy. So met the core team super early. This is all the consensus mechanism that harkened back to like the early OG Bitcoin thesis. I got super excited about it. We've now built the team to around 55 folks, did a fair launch, and went to mainnet early last year. It's been a ton of fun, but we're like, 1% of the way through the journey. But yeah, super excited to tell you guys all about Core. We're building.
I don't know where should I start off at? There's a couple $1 trillion in somewhere in Coinbase. I don't know. I asked about that. Definitely. How do we get a couple $1 trillion in Coinbase? I back up a little bit. One kind of fast, zoomed over. I got stuck on the $1 trillion too.
That's the East Coast of me. We speak fast. But yeah, dude. So I got there and it was like pretty early. Like the 2020 cycle hadn't happened yet, and that's when the volumes really exploded there. And we started to see crazy inflows, and also really funny to like double credit, except for scenarios where like you think exchanges work really well for the most part, but every once in a while you have to go like chase down a couple hundred money bucks. That's really thank you, but it was a lot of fun. And then this did a global expansion, especially during like peak shit media. If any of you guys are like shit whales, it's partially my fault. Actually, I realized actually on vacation, one of my like few vacations the last few years, that we had Dogecoin in the App Store, but like we had this weird coin called SHIB that was getting much volume. And I ironically actually texted the guy we got arrested for insider trading to, hey, go add this to our App Store listing. And then SHIB it went from like 0 to 10. But it was a lot of fun, met a lot of amazing people. And now really, on the issuer side, it's so different. It's really just trying to take the next big step.
So talk to us a little bit about Core. How is it that you come about? You kind of sped through that a bit. You said you launched a fair launch back in, would you say, November last year?
Early 2023.
February 2023. But yeah, well, how did the idea come about? And tell us a little bit more about the concept in itself.
Yeah, so for a brand that's done in space for a while, was that like the religious style that say like Bitcoin is very for a long time, right? And for a long time, there was no ability to see any of the value in any of the other viewpoints. And that was kind of the crux. It was Bitcoin maxing and Ethereum maxing. And we're debating, are there any merits to either one's viewpoint? They eventually said, hey, there's actually like a 1 + 1 = 3 there. maybe let's take some of the better ideas from both and slam them together. And security at the decentralization of Bitcoin came into place, and then the scalability and building the Ethereum side came into place. And that was kind of the original genesis of Satoshi plus consensus, which is a hybrid protocol, and it's part proof of stake and then also part proof of work. Proof of work comes directly from Bitcoin with this trustless relay process. And currently over 50% of Bitcoin blocks are actually currently being delegated to Core. So a lot of credit to Brendan with the BD side, done a lot of work there to get a lot of this initial adoption. And one of the more exciting pieces, we're actually adding a third leg to our consensus actually in April, which is actually non-custodial Bitcoin staking. So as like a lot of Bitcoin holders, I'd assume are in this room, and one of the big things that digital gold for a long time, but the only way to get yield is through some sort of like centralized process. We've seen BlockFi, Celsius, Genesis, how nasty it is. While coming in April, you'd be able to just stay on the Bitcoin L1 and earn passive yield for the first time. And it's essentially using HTLC time lock, so you actually never can give up custody. So we think that's the first step of unlocking the 1 trillion. I used to say 1 trillion, now it's like, well, the half trillion of latent Bitcoin that's just looking into it for more yield in a safe, trusted way.
Excellent. And how do you see, like, obviously, all-time highs coming, bull market is here, it's not, rapidly approaching. And how do you see you guys playing out with the next course of the next 12 to 18 months in your roadmap?
Yeah, so we executed pretty well for the project, which is hard. We're big on actually delivering on what we do. And one of the big pieces that allocated us to the Bitcoin started in April, our HTLC atomic swap protocol will also go live. And then our core wrap Bitcoin also goes live later this month. So watch these like table stakes features for being like a new L1 that's trying to unlock the latent Bitcoin here. But coming up pretty soon, we're getting like the more exciting part of the roadmap. We've got Bitcoin NFT into place, which we're pretty excited about, and then also we'll bring our Satoshi Plus consensus multi-chain. And the final one that I'll share that I'm super excited about is actually local key markets. I don't know how much people have done research here at local key markets. Solana's leading a lot of this research today. But kind of the idea is we can solve the issue if we know what's going to happen in advance, either by flagging your dependencies outright or through simulation. What we can get to is a place where you can, in theory, have really cheap, predictable transactions throughout all of crypto. We think that's going back to kind of the original Bitcoin as money type thesis. We can't do on Bitcoin L1 for a variety of reasons. And we're hoping to bring that to stable coins for the South, as well as Bitcoin liquids everywhere on top of board. So we're super fired up about some of these releases that will come out later this year.
Excellent. And any thoughts on where is it that you guys think you'll have the most impact? I know you said layer one is a tough space, right? And there's a lot of layer ones out there. We had Scott Walker on here a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure if you know Scott. Scott's invested in probably every layer one you could imagine. He'll probably invest in yours too. Give him a shot. Well, no, he did say he's done trying to build these killers. Yeah, he did say he had enough. He's taken his defeat and accepted it. But yeah, so how do you see yourself positioning, and capturing a portion of the layer one market share?
Yeah, so I think there's this new category that's emerged the last, let's call it, half a year to go. Really since the word calls came out, so maybe a year or so. It's really these Bitcoin scale sequence. And I think you're seeing kind of emergence, a re-emergence of sidechains like RSK, Stacks, they call themselves L2, Core, and then you get a variety of these Bitcoin L2s that are all coming to market. And really what all of you can try to do is separate Bitcoin, the asset, from the rail. It's this hard, proving scarce to build money. We want to unlock these further capabilities, but we can't do that with constraints of the L1, which is desirable property for a lot of reasons. And that space is going to be pretty enormous. I think if you look at Bitcoin's $1.5 trillion today, let's assume by the end of this cycle, it's probably around $5 trillion, something like that. 10 to 30% of this is going to wind its way into DeFi. You're going to have multi-$100 billion chains that just emerged in this case. And I think if I was to make a full prediction here, I'd say within 36 months, I think Bitcoin is the dominant asset by TVL. And we start to see that really overtake Ethereum.
Like what? Not like asset, but what?
Total value locked in up DeFi platforms.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be just the biggest story of this cycle as we kind of take over some of the piece of Ethereum of still on.
Now, as you guys know, I ask this question just about every week. And, I have to agree with what he's saying. This is the first person that's told me about like what they anticipate coming in the cycle, and what they would actually do. You know, what they're building is actually an area that I actually anticipate is going to grow tremendously, which is exactly what he's saying from the Ordinals. When that came out, you know, it's about a year and a half ago, right? It gives you the ability to build a lot of smart contract properties on the Bitcoin network, right? And move forward. So companies like Core, so on and so forth, you know, they will be positioned very well at that cycle. Let's get some questions. Questions? You got sushi question? You got chopsticks, so this
Now, what do you think of Brad saying about that? Is you guys using any of that type of technology for what you're doing? I'm not familiar with all the different ways that you can lock Bitcoin. You mentioned 10 locks, but you could go into a little more of the technical for some of us. I'm curious how you're doing what you're doing in a way that can unlock all that value you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a super good question. So drivetrain's really interesting, but we have to get bit of 300 so that comes through. And I just don't see that happening. I think Paul Stark is an amazing technologist, so much for the space, but just can't get the aligned commitment for it. And I think like this is obviously there's some bias in this answer, but I'm pretty anti adding additional things to the Bitcoin base layer at this point. I think like opcat or opctv, whichever one eventually wins, should be the last opcode, bars like some emergency that occurs. Because I'm really nervous that if we have an issue with Bitcoin, we black hole the entire space. Like we now have 10 billion plus of it flows in these Bitcoin ETFs, a lot of mom and pop retails there. And if for some reason Bitcoin actually has a real issue, like I think the space is probably not, to be honest. So I'm pretty bullish on just keeping Bitcoin as this product digital gold, and that's why I want to separate the asset from the base layer.
Next question, Alex.
Michael Turpin has this model of winter, spring, summer, fall for time crises, and then there's this the general model that Bitcoin will go up, that Ethereum will go up, and then it will go into all altcoins, and as you said, DeFi. What is your model for why Bitcoin is going up, and what causes it to stop going up, and then what happens?
Do you want to answer that?
Oh, I'm happy to answer that. So if I could answer this question 100%, I'd be very happy.
But I stay away from it. It's like you just said to the Fed, they'll talk to it.
But that is list of priorities. So I'll make sure everybody better when I answer. But what I would say is that I think this cycle is truly different. We've never seen instant bid from BlackRock and these real institutions. And I think there's a real question of how much of that actually pours back into all this. And I think that's very different. Like historically, you see a tremendous amount of reinvestment that it's done like new alt high, we then trough, and then immediately flows back and all those other things. I'm not as convinced that happens this time.
Yeah.
And I think we alt space can get that much more competitive, so we work on survival of the fittest. But I do think there'll be flows, and I do think that we'll be like products with the commodity.
No more white paper, right? We just
You don't know that.
white paper. Okay.
So,
Yadiel, give me a question. No question. Just
when's the LTS? So we are really that Bitcoin LTS.
Yeah, the liquid staking to LST. Oh, yeah. So we have this non-custodial Bitcoin staking that was live in April. And what's awesome about that is that you never give up custody. It never leaves the L1. You just earn yields doing that. We're on the yield of core tokens. Eventually that'll get paid in Bitcoin, but to start, easiest way to do it is kids in core tokens. However, for other people that are what's called maybe slightly more risky game, what they'll want to do is actually be able to mint a liquid staking token on top of their Bitcoin that they're locked with L1. So what does that mean? It means you get a token on core and you can engage in all sorts of core DeFi with. We also earn that asset yield. And that's where you get to some of the composability that we've seen at places like Ethereum, right? Where it's like having Bitcoin become a yield-based asset for the first time, it unlocks a way into new DeFi pyramids, new opportunities. And like one of the things I'm super excited about to the launch of the Bitcoin holder is just like a really credible Bitcoin maker DAO. I think that solves so many problems to Bitcoin holders where you want to launch your Bitcoin, but you also want to get trustless cash that you can then use for everyday expenses, etc. And that would also be, if I'm making a prediction, probably like one of the first DeFi protocols that ends up 100 billion to the out. Why should I correct?
Just
as far as like this blockchain tried to look, a lot of these new Bitcoin L2 tokens, there's the SAX book, or letters, and the AS of governance, Reddit launching your course up. And what are some of your talking points with like the hardcore, like Bitcoin money as well as of why we keeping the money to token, but other small things in Bitcoin of it.
So now I should ask the question. Core is live. We actually went live during the peak of the bear market when Bitcoin was not hot again. but it's been nice to be there because we're like something either way, similar to Stacks. So a couple things. And like Bitcoin Magazine recently put out there, like what qualifies Bitcoin out to. And one of the pieces there is that Bitcoin must be used as like the base layer asset of the chain. And I actually have a commenting to that, which is the majority of Bitcoiners out there want to go further for Bitcoin. Why don't you just want to go use your Bitcoin as fees if you be okay in something else?
It's where it's qualified as a parasite.
Yes. I mean, everything qualifies as a parasite. It was funny if you looked at the qualifications there. There's nothing around like unilateral legacy. Like any of the other pieces is just kind of show the bias. Either way, we love what Bitcoin banks sometimes. But I think that's one of the pieces that I think you'll actually want a fee token because you'll just want to earn more Bitcoin. I think that's a very like simple thing for everyone.
Shout out to David Bailey. We gotta get David Bailey up here from Bitcoin Magazine. He's in the wrong. Like that. The guy always thinking like bag. Gotcha. Fake things. But anyway, he also does the big by card. That's a man, same person.
Very cool.
But now I think they're not going to Miami this year. They're going to Nashville.
Yeah.
Why does here? But I don't know whose decision was that. But good lord, Miami is much more fun. But anyway, any more questions for Rich? Let's give a round of applause to my guy, Rich. All right, let's keep going. Let's do it. Great.